Happy Wednesday, Instagram. In case you've watched this before, and especially if you're watching this back, I moved locations today, and I'm upstairs in our music studio. Thought the lighting might be better here. Hi, Zachary Ray. Looking forward to having you on in just a few weeks. But yeah, I'm working from up here today because the lighting is a little bit better. And also, I've had some real qualms about what I'm wearing because I kind of feel like a mechanic, but also like I might break out in a song from West Side Story. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
I like the shirt, but all day when I've seen it on screen, I've been like, kind of feel like either a mechanic or like a member of West Side Story.
Or just like a basketball player.
Yeah, basketball. I just came from the gym, you guys. So swole. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
I was explaining to them too. I moved upstairs today. I'm in our music studio.
Oh, nice.
Thought the background might be more interesting.
Cool.
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yours looks the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
If any of you are joining us for the first time ever, my name is Kat Robertson, and I am the digital marketing director here at Christian Music Marketing, Marketing with Wisdom.
And I'm Wisdom, and I'm the founder of Christian Music Marketing and Marketing with Wisdom.
Yep, it's a great name because, it has some real implications.
Yeah, sometimes people ask me when I do calls, like the initial calls, or like they'll ask me like what my name is, and then I tell them, and then they're like, "Oh, I get it," or a lot of times like they don't even believe me.
Sounds right.
That is my real name. But yeah, it is a play on words. Hey Dan,
It's
thanks
great.
for joining us.
Well, I think our guest is already here this week. They've sent me a request to try and join.
Awesome.
So, should we go ahead and try and bring him in?
Yeah.
This is a good friend of ours, well, good friends of ours, I should say, and they've recently relocated to Nashville, and we're super excited to welcome Seth and Jenna from Him and Her Worship. Yeah, yay! Maybe afterwards I'll add some clapping.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi, guys.
Hey,
Hi,
what's
friends.
up?
How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you guys?
We're
So good. Thanks for having us on. We're
Yeah.
really excited to be here.
We're pumped. We actually
Of
just
course.
saw Kat like last week too.
Yeah.
So
I don't even think we have anything to talk about,
Yeah.
honestly.
So
We talked
true.
about everything.
Yeah.
Honestly, the conversation went very quickly from like, it's so good to see you both to like, so this is a therapy session now
Yeah.
all the way around and we're all holding hands basically. It was great.
That's right. That's so true.
All around some awesome sandwiches, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very true. Shout out to Mitchell Deli. If you're here in Nashville,
Yep.
Yeah.
you go check it out.
Yep.
Very
So
good.
good. Yeah, it's so
Sponsor us.
good. Yes, please.
Maybe we could do that. I could start giving some shout outs to people
Oh,
on here.
man.
Good places to have meetings, whatever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
See?
and we just all get to eat sandwiches while we're talking. That'd be
Oh, yeah.
that would be perfect. I am so
I'll do sponsorships for free food.
Yes. Oh,
For
for
real.
sure. Yeah.
Oh, I would eat anywhere if someone gave it to me for free.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm with you.
Anywhere? For real? Anywhere?
I think so.
Okay, all right.
I'm not scared. I'm not scared.
That's amazing.
Watch me have. I'm gonna have to walk this back in a few weeks when we get
Yeah.
some really weird opportunities.
Seth, sounds like you would maybe avoid certain places. What's like one place you would never eat at, even if they offered you like money to eat at?
McDonald's. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry.
That hurts me. McDonald's is my guilty pleasure, like go to late at night or driving home at 2 a.m. food for sure.
I get it. I get it. And it's all good for you, but not for me.
Well,
I'm
technically
sorry.
it sounds like you don't get it, but I'm gonna let it slide.
Like for me, I would not be sponsored by Burger King. Like I love McDonald's, but
Oh.
Burger King, like or maybe Wendy's. No offense, like if they're listening, but like the fact that you can, it's like scary that you can buy like 20 chicken nuggets for $4. That's scary to me. I don't know.
If you guys are watching live right now, leave us a comment. Let us know what you would never eat, even if somebody pays you.
Right.
What
What
about
you
you guys? Yeah.
Yeah, and Kat.
Mine is Taco Bell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with
Yeah. It's always a high risk with Taco Bell, so
you.
yeah.
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 Well, I feel like you guys have the bar set higher than me. Because I feel like, there's a situation for everything. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Some places you never anticipated yourself being, and yet there you
Man.
are.
You're so optimistic.
You're so
inclusive.
optimistic.
Or a politician, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to rule out any potential sponsorships.
Oh, my
Just
goodness.
That's so true.
But actually, okay, someone said White Castle.
Oh, yep.
Someone said, you love the McDonald's.
Mm.
Someone else said no to Burger King, maybe.
Mm.
Burger King seems popular. I will say the one time I've been there, probably in the past 10 years of my life, I tried to order the chicken fries for nostalgic reasons.
Yep.
Didn't have them. So seemed like that was it for me and Burger King.
That's it. Done.
I eat a lot of weird stuff. Like I could eat
Yeah.
cow intestines, tripe, cow tongue.
Ooh.
I mean, pig feet.
Yeah.
Where I like draw the line with Taco Bell is like, if I feel like the food that I can find in a dumpster might be better to eat, like that's where I'm like, I'm not gonna eat that.
Dude, that's true.
Oh.
I feel that.
Wow. That's like really interesting though. What do you normally eat tripe and all those things in? Because we love pho. Like that's one of our favorite foods.
The first time we had it was with
tripe, and I didn't love it. So we're like more like the beef brisket and maybe the meatball pho.
Yeah.
But what do you like to eat those like pig's feet and tripe in?
I would say pho is a good way to eat it. There's also like a spicy way. Like I think it's like a popular, maybe like just with Koreans, but yeah, there's like a spicy like seasoning that they do with it. One time I went to New York actually for Paul Balash's studio recording session.
Okay.
And I took some of my colleagues to this Korean barbecue place. It was all you can eat. It was like $35 or something, but you can order whatever you want on this like barbecue menu.
Nice.
And they had everything from like intestine to like the crazy squid. And I have some videos of this. Like you put it on the grill because you grill it on your table yourself.
Yeah.
You put it on the grill and it just starts like moving. The intestine starts like shrinking and stuff. It kind of looks like a worm.
Oh.
All right. People are leaving the stream. Let's wrap up the topic.
I think we're gaining viewers. Actually.
Yeah. Believe it or not, guys, this is not usually a food review show, but maybe it is now. I don't know. It's possible.
Oh my goodness.
It's hilarious.
Can we tell you about our most exciting Instagram moment of all time?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here we
Please.
go. Just because you brought up Korean barbecue. Do you guys know who Roy Choi is by chance?
No.
Okay, so he started the food truck in LA called Kogi. He's like the most, he like started Korean barbecue, and he's friends with Jon Favreau, and they made the movie Chef together. Have you seen the movie Chef?
Oh,
Yeah, so he was the inspiration for the story. It's really his story. And they made this other TV show called The Chef Show, and it's so amazing. It's on Netflix. But we got Instagram messaged back by Roy Choi, and it's like the most exciting thing.
They just like put on our stories like the Chef Show
is so good, and he messaged us back, and it was insane. So that's our most exciting Instagram.
Yeah, big
We
time.
want to be his friend. Yeah,
But
we want to be his
That's
friend.
awesome.
So if you guys ever meet Roy Choi, please hook it up.
But he's like super cool, and we learned a lot about Korean food specifically because he cooks like the do you ever eat, what is that? It's like certain organs of like a sea urchin, umi or something.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it's uni.
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 Like, yeah, he makes so many dishes with that, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
crazy. It's crazy. But it was super interesting.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm a
Sorry.
foodie, so I could talk about food for
Yeah.
hours.
Yes,
Right?
I'm so sorry.
Right. This is not why we're on.
Or is it?
It
I
might
mean,
be.
I
It
don't
might
know.
be. I don't know.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you guys actually have traveled a ton, like living on the road. I'm sure you've had a lot of interesting food, whether it's like
Oh, yeah.
by choice or like that was the only thing available.
Yep.
Oh man.
Uh,
Oh my
what's been
gosh.
like the most interesting thing you've had on the road while on tour?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
I think one of the things that we really learned, especially like it's super interesting because like what you're going into normally doesn't always indicate the quality of food, if that makes sense. And like one of the most incredible like street tacos I've ever had was in LA. And
Mm,
literally it was a pickup truck that they pulled out a white folding table out like and just
nice.
set it on the side of the street. And yeah, it was literally insanely good. But it was like, you know, like I might get food poisoning, but it's
Yeah.
so good.
Yep.
So like that was like it's
Yeah.
really interesting how like traveling in that way kind of changes your perspective on like vibe versus like quality, and it doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily correlate, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm trying to think of like the worst food that we had on tour, and I can't think of anything, but one of my favorite things I still dream about is there's a thing called a kolache in Texas, and it's like a Czech pastry, and it's usually filled with like fruit and stuff, but it's also can be filled in like with brisket and cheese. So it's like
Ooh.
this fluffy
Kind of like a donut.
donut, but it's
Huh.
filled with like
Wow.
Brisket.
Smoked brisket.
and I think about it a lot sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was good stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow. That's super interesting. So
Yeah.
you guys have like literally lived in your camper, traveling all over the place.
Yeah.
And I know like probably starting out, like you didn't really know what was going to happen on the road, how long you were going to be on the road.
Yeah.
What made you guys even like go for it and do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got it.
Yeah. So basically, we got married in 2000. What year was that? 17. So like coming up 4 years ago this month. And we kind of had like the normal life. We had good jobs. Kind of like the American dream. Like we had a house, we had the 401k, we had everything that we thought we should have, and more money than we knew what to do with, and all of the things that like is what you know you're supposed to have. And we basically realized within like 6 months of being married that like we have all the things we're supposed to, but we're incredibly unhappy and kind of passionless. And basically we just decided like we love adventure and we want to see the country, and we can play music, so we might as well see if we can like travel and make like break even basically. And that kind of like started us down the path of selling off all of our possessions, buying equipment, buying a van and a camper, and then we basically went on tour that summer and never stopped for 3.5 years. So
Wow.
which is insane. Yeah.
It's kind of like that holy discontent. Like, I think there's something more that we can do. And it's not like having our normal lives was anything wrong with that, but it was just like really not a good fit for us. So yeah, it was like that holy discontent that drove us to do something that most people would say is kind of crazy.
Insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here we are.
Yeah.
So it worked
We
out.
survived.
Well, and I guess kind of full circle, now you guys are sort of in between being on the road, like with COVID, obviously, but then beyond that, you guys have relocated more or less to Nashville.
Yes. Yeah.
So maybe share with people like what prompted that decision, and you know what have you seen as pros and cons now, having experienced so many different ways of life, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Man, that is a great question. I'd say starting with last year, we were on the road and basically making our way across the South when COVID happened, and we ended up like living in a church parking lot for 3 months.
Oh, wow.
And that was like a really emotional low, as it was for everybody, but it's like when you're confined to a house, your own house, you have to stay at home, and your home is 13 feet long. It's kind of like
we were kind of homeless, literally.
Yeah.
Like in in a weird sense, and always was like, are we overstaying our welcome, but also we have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was kind of really disorienting,
Yeah.
but also an incredible time because we made our record at that church. And I mean, that's how we met you guys. Like, everything has been so amazing since that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then when like the world started opening up a little bit and we were able to go back on tour with like outdoor concerts and like social distance Sunday services and stuff, we like went back on the road and it just like wasn't the same. Like, we had some great experiences, but it felt like harder. I don't know. It's hard to go when you don't have a bathroom of your own and you have to shower in someone's house. Like, it gets difficult when there's like a virus all over the place, or when people are scared or don't want you around, or like they cancel on you last minute, and people just in general were like really sharp too.
Yeah.
Like, everyone had an opinion and everyone wanted to share it with us because we hadn't heard their opinion yet.
Yeah.
And it kind of like came to a head that we were in the Midwest touring and we had like a cancellation and some like kind of some persecution, and we were just like, dude, I'm just kind of done with touring. Maybe we need to quit like forever or like come off the road. And we were like, let's move to Bozeman, Montana, because that's like our favorite place in the world. But we had a media trip in Nashville the next week, and we got a call from our PR manager, and she was like, hey, so an artist brought COVID to all the media outlets, so you can still come, but like you can't get interviewed or anything, but like we'll set up like you can hang out with some artists and producers that we set up if you want to still come. And we're like, okay, let's go. And like basically went there, and we were just praying going into it, like, okay, God, can it either be pretty clear that this is open or pretty clear that this is closed? Like, is Nashville even an option? And basically we came down here and was like by the end of it, we're like, we have to.
Yeah, we had a place to live,
Yeah.
and it just was all worked out. It was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had a place that had like its own bathroom and shower.
Yeah.
We have a bathroom.
We have a bathroom.
Yeah.
Literally, it's like 6 feet from the bed, so it's
we don't have to go outside.
yes, it's crazy. Yeah, walk through a parking lot. Yeah, I mean, man, it's insane.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Yeah, that's and I feel too like there's so many struggles that come with touring full time, but like one of the big ones was like it was really hard to hold on to community too, and we just felt like we needed to be somewhere like for once and like be there long enough for people to know us and also to know them and be supported in that way, because I mean really over the past 3.5 years it's been hard to do that, and we said like our life was just a constant goodbye, and it feels good to not be that, for once.
And we were told like there's something really good about having our names on a mailbox, even though our names are not on our mailbox, but like this is my home. Like we still feel kind of like it's getting hot in Nashville, and I'm like ready to skedaddle to
that Northwest thing's real good.
Like let's go to Seattle or something. So I feel like it's like we have to figure out how to be content here, because it's like all the things we've been wanting, but yet we're not able to like go travel and live on the road and live that like hippie life. It's like you kind of just have to choose and be content where you are.
So how do you find contentment? We have a lot of artists that listen to our podcast and watch these videos, and I think that a lot of times that's really like the biggest struggle is finding contentment in like where they are in that season of life and that journey as an artist, especially with that comparison game of like seeing what other people are doing and the fear of missing out. So how do you find contentment as an artist and songwriter?
Gosh, so I'm just gonna preface this by we had a couple meetings with some artists that like are much more successful than us, and like they struggle just as much as we do with it. And I literally thought that like, and this is me being naive, but I thought that there is probably someone, or thought that like there's an arrival moment or something where it's like, okay, finally I've seen enough success in this career that like I know what like the future holds somewhat, or like But that has just become absolutely clear that no one has any idea what's going on ever. Like literally,
Yeah.
like it's record to record, it's day to day, it's tour to tour. Like there's no guarantees in this industry at all. And
Yeah.
so like sitting there with these people, it's like, okay, you don't know what's going to happen. So I can like be okay with not knowing what's going to happen either. Cause it's like, so if like letting go of that has been kind of a big thing. Like just being okay with like, I don't know what the future holds. And that's literally okay. Cause no one does. It's a good starting point, I think.
Yeah. And also like, I was just thinking we say this quote all the time from The Office where like Andy, Bernard is like, I wish someone would tell you it's the good old days before they're gone, you know? Like, is that, I think I butchered that.
When you're in the good old days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm already missing the times when we spent in our camper. Cause it's like, oh, we were just out there. We were just, you know, playing shows and just
doing
changing lives. And it's so great. And then like, I know there will be another day, like a couple years from now, a couple decades where it's gonna be like, man, we were just, you know, trying to figure out how to afford to live, and we were living in Nashville and we were getting coffee with all these people who are our heroes, and man, those are the good old days. And I just feel like it just takes some presence in the moment. Like it's actually more fun to struggle for what you want than to actually get it, I think.
Yeah.
Like the struggle of like living paycheck to paycheck, making the record because you worked at a department store in all your free time and you just put that all money together and do your best, you know? I just feel like there's something magical about the struggle. And I feel like we just want to arrive.
And wish it away. But like this is when you're in this is like, this is what we do it for. You know, I don't know. This is the magic of it is doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Even though it sucks sometimes, you know? But
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, and it feels like in each season of anybody's life, like you're always looking back at what you had and you're like, oh, things were so much better then. Like, not to be over spiritual, but like the Israelites in the desert, you know, when they're finally like, God, it was so much better when we were in Egypt. And God's like,
are you kidding?
Why do I tolerate you people? But there's this tendency to always look back and say things were so much better then. And then this tendency to always look ahead and say, and things will be so much better than they are now.
Yeah.
When in reality, there's always going to be pros and cons of each one of those individual seasons. And they're going to be different from each other.
Yep.
You know?
Yes.
Yep.
But do you guys feel like part of, at least for you in your scope of things, part of contentment, do you feel like that's somewhat wrapped up in how you set or even talk about expectation?
Oh, gosh. I think one of the things that I've personally been working on really hard is to not live out the narrative that I play in my head. Because, like, the reality is every time it never adds up. So, okay, so, like, when we play a show, especially lately, especially being in Nashville, like if you live in Nashville, you kind of understand that like it feels like every time you do anything, the potential for like your life to change is humongous, right? Because it's like, oh my gosh, like someone could see me that could literally change my life. And then at the other side of it, it's like, and someone could see me and literally ruin my career. So it's like I feel like the pendulum possibilities swing so high, but in reality, the way that you change your life is just by doing things consistently over and over and over again. And the reality of like someone changing your life is like, it's probably not going to happen, whatever, you know? Yeah. So like my struggle is to literally like be, okay, the reality is it's probably not going to be as good as I believe it in my head. And it's probably not going to be as bad as I believe it is going to be in my head. So I should just like experience it because that's way better.
Yeah. That's the truth.
But it's really hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Because, like, I feel like we're victims of being big dreamers. And, like, that has, like, dire consequences when you're wrong. But I feel like it took us being hurt by our expectations to...
Over and over and over.
Yeah, to be like, okay, this is probably not going to be best case scenario. And it's also not going to be worst case scenario. It's probably going to be somewhere in the middle. Let's just let it happen.
And that's good enough, too, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like that, like with like our last record too, because it was like, it feels like it felt like it could be life changing, and it literally has been life changing. But not in the necessarily the way that I thought it would be life-changing, but the way that it has been life-changing is way better than what I expected it to be anyway. So normally it ends up being what you need it to be.
Yeah.
And it's not as exciting sometimes as what you want it to be, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's life, right? I don't know.
There's definitely like the grind of the everyday life that, you know, sometimes it can feel mundane. Even like writing songs can feel mundane, you know, and it feels like a grind. But then when you have that one song that just hits and, you know, like something about it is different, people react to it different, you know, and then it makes everything else you did worth it leading up to that point, you know.
Always. And like the thing that I'm starting to realize more and more is like what's so cool is like the opportunities that a lot of these things open up. And, you know, making songs is amazing and I love it, but like the relationships that we're getting to make and hanging out with the coolest people in the world and like all this stuff, the other things that have opened up that I didn't even think about, like it was more of just like, man, I hope a song gets 1 million streams or whatever, or like we get to go on this bigger tour or whatever. It's like, that's really cool. But the things I didn't even think about are like the best parts of it, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like reframing it. We've been talking a lot about, like, especially like spiritually, like what winning and losing is. And like one of the big examples, like when Jesus died on the cross, like it literally looked like failure or looked like losing, but it was actually winning. And so we've been trying to like reframe everything through that lens. Like where are we winning when we're actually losing, and where are we losing where we're actually winning? And like,
or when it looks like you're losing, or
where it looks like losing or failing. And like even like one of the things I think I said a couple weeks ago, it's like there's no trophy for being humble. There's no reward. There isn't. And like that can hurt a lot. But like, so just like trying to like reframe a lot of things. I don't know. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think also, just from my perspective, I see a lot of artists kind of having this dream of moving to Nashville, the mecca of like Christian music industry, you know. And when they do, or when they're trying to get there, and maybe they're doing it even digitally, or they're reaching out to people in Nashville in the industry. I also, you know, when I see that happening, because I've been on that side, like working at a label and being the person that, you know, people reach out to. I wonder, like, what would happen if artists that want to make those connections and get a deal or whatever the, you know, success is that they're trying to go for, what if they change their perspective and their approach from what can you do for me to what can I do for you, you know? I think changing just even that approach, because it is so much about relationships and not trying to like, you know, I need to acquire 1 million streams or I need to win a double award, you know, but like you have to, you know, invest into those relationships. So what have you guys experienced along those lines?
Oh man. First of all, I just got to say, when you said that, we all went like, oh yeah, like all three of us. It was like, he's speaking the truth. When we went down to Nashville at, in January, we like changed our perspective as best as we could. Because like, you know, you're right. People come down here and they're like, I'm just going to get a record deal and I'm going to meet this person. I'm going to get a manager. We came down with like a 100-day plan. So like we were, you know, doing that where it's like, all right, first month we need to write this many songs and we need to have this many meetings. And it was like super intentional, but holding it in tension with like, I want to be a neighbor to people here because like we've been on the road for so long. It's been like we blow through a church and it's like, hi, we're here. Here's our concert. Thanks for the money. Bye. And like that's what it sometimes ends up being. I mean, obviously that's a simplification. Like lots of talks and stories and relationships. Yes. So it's obviously way deeper than that.
No, I totally get what you mean, Jenna.
Yes, thank you. So if anyone like misinterprets that, I'll just like send them to you guys and you can explain. But like when you're just living in a camper, it can't be like, hey, yeah, I'll fix your lawnmower for you, or yeah, we take film photography, we'll come to your concert and just, you know, take pictures for you, or do you need a video, or hey, here's some advice, or yeah, I'd love to show up to your show. Like we haven't been able to do that for 3 years, and I'm not trying to practice like false humility or anything, but like that's what we really tried to do when we got here, is like, what can I do for people? Because we have skills and like caring energy that we can give to people. Obviously it's like super tainted with selfishness, like we can't take that out of the picture, but it's like, I feel like since we've been down here, we've been trying our hardest to like just give, and like, oh, you're going on tour, I'll have some money that you need, or like, oh, you need pictures, let's take pictures for you. And this is not a humble brag, I'm really trying not to, but like I feel like we've just been blessed in like this insane way by not being focused on us. Like, yeah, we have goals, but like what do the people around us need, I guess? Do you
I totally agree. And like I feel like, yeah, that idea of not focusing. So like, for example, like this last week wasn't the easiest week of our life. And we ended up, for an artist friend, we went to her show, we did some videos and we took some pictures. And like the coolest part about being there was like, I literally didn't think about myself at all. Like it was literally just to serve our friend. And it just gives I think so much life to like love other people. And I think the truth is that like, honestly, in this town, there's so much stuff going on, literally. And really, I think most artists just want someone to show up and like care about them. And it's like amazing to be able to do that, like literally, because like I know how it feels to be on tour for whatever, or play in a show in a town, and like people say they'll come or they don't, and just like being the person that says they're gonna come and actually come, and like I feel like that's like invaluable. And not like I'm here, like I'm not here for me, it's like I'm literally here for you, because I want to love you and you're amazing, like you deserve people to show up. So that's kind of like been our focus, honestly, is just to like love other people as unconditionally as we humanly can in a simple world, if that makes sense. But anyway,
and I would say that like any artist that's hoping to come to Nashville for making it in music, like maybe examine your motivations and see if that's something that you can try, because you're right, it's like I think coming down with like a one-track mind of I want to be famous, that is like gonna leave you empty, like for sure. And even though like we could be hungrier and like be kicking and scratching and clawing after success, I feel better that we'll spend a Friday night taking pictures for a friend, or like helping someone move, or you know, like it's just it feels better. It
is better.
Yeah.
And the thing that's crazy is that like in reality, probably the majority of people are coming down to get something out of for this. So you're going to be in the minority. Like you're just going to be different, and that's like awesome, you know? Right? Like, So
it makes you stand out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I know. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I know we're running out of time with you guys, but I think that something we talk to indie artists a lot about is finding other avenues or ways to, you know, like not only supplement your income, but like other skills, things you can do on the road, you know, stuff like that. How, because I know you guys, is it called Wonder Film?
Wonder Film.
So you guys launched that separately, which is like a film photography subset of what you guys do. How did you decide like this feels like the right avenue for us to continue working on our music, continue building these relationships, but also provide a supplemental income, and it's a passion, you know?
Literally, it's your guys' fault. So
that's true.
It literally is. So basically, when we did our last record, we brought you guys on to help with like social media and all that stuff. And you guys helped us like figure out what we wanted our social media to be like. And that was the thing we realized at that time. I think we had some film pictures taken of us, and we're like, this is like really different, and it looks really cool, and it kind of like made us different than a lot of other people. And then we kind of like fell in love with it, and we're like, well, we have to take film pictures to like have enough content to have all of our pictures be filmed. And so like that kind of spiraled, and then like, you know, as you guys said, it takes like about a year of being consistent before like, and that's it kind of like caught all of a sudden. It was like, oh, like people are like noticing, and they're like, I think like we're getting better at this. Like, what if we started like taking pictures of other people and like other things? And then so it's just like totally natural. It just kind of happened, and then then we came down here and we're like, I mean, everyone loves film pictures. Like they're so vibey. So that's literally how it happened.
That's very
It was
cool.
very organic, if that makes sense.
And so we just taken pictures of like artists that we know and like locations, and just posted like our favorite ones on there. We actually just got our first inquiry about taking pictures, and I like didn't read it for 2 weeks, so I missed out on it.
Fail. Yeah.
But like, I think like someday it'll be it's for sure helpful to us, but I think someday it'll be some kind of income or something. So
Totally.
yeah. But like the coolest thing is like we show up to people's concerts because we're gonna help them take pictures. Someone's puppy sounds cute. Like we show up to a concert or something to take pictures, and then we end up making like 5 to 10 new friends. So it's like really cool.
Yes.
I did not even know that you can still buy film. So
Yes.
I don't even know where to buy film actually.
I think all online.
Yeah, it's mostly online.
Oh,
It's a big deal. Like it's like coming back. Like
I thought
literally,
you were gonna say like that street corner over there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
Walmart does.
type.
Yeah.
Walmart does sell one film type.
Wow.
But it's kind of crazy. Like so, there's like point and shoot cameras like from the 90s.
Yeah.
Some of them are literally like $1,000 on eBay.
Wow.
Like it's like a thing.
Jeez.
Like for real.
Yeah.
It's coming back.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, better jump
I'm
on
gonna
the
have to take
train.
mine out.
Literally, you're right. Yes.
Do you have one? That actually feels like very on brand for Wisdom to be like, actually, I also have a film photography business.
I think last year I actually like found in a box one of those like disposable cameras.
Oh my
With
goodness.
film like still in
wow.
it.
Oh,
Dude.
did you finish it?
No, I was like,
you got
I
to.
don't even know what to do with it.
Oh, you got to. That's also coming back. Some artists, what they'll do is they'll give, it's so brilliant. They'll give like the first like 5 rows of a show, a disposable camera, and they take pictures, and then they give them back, and then they just like they develop them, and they use that for content.
Yeah.
So like
Wow.
disposable cameras are really a big deal now too. So yeah.
That's really cool. I love the
Yeah.
idea of passing them out at shows and being like, please just drop these back off. Like,
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah.
But really
It's
cool
super
idea.
cool. Yeah. So yeah, not cheap though. Not cheap.
No.
Yes, not a cheap. Yeah,
No.
but it's cool. So yeah.
Well, thanks guys for being on our Instagram Live
Of course.
and our podcast and just sharing about your journey and giving some tips on film.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If people want to follow you, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, I'd say Instagram at Him and Her Worship. Yeah, that would probably be.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's where all the fun stuff happens. So.
That's where the fun stuff
Oh,
happens.
yeah.
And do you have anything like upcoming that you want to share with people?
Nothing,
Honestly,
not too
no.
much that we can share yet.
Yeah, we're just working towards our next record, but no, like really anything in solid. Like,
Yeah.
it's all just very exciting in the future,
Yeah.
but nothing real yet.
So follow us,
Yes.
and you'll.
Eventually, something will happen.
That's a good strategy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Coming soon.
Coming soon. Yes, I love it. Oh man,
Awesome. Well, you guys
Awesome.
are awesome. Thanks so much for
Yes.
inviting us.
we love you guys. Thanks for being our
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
Yes,
Of course.
Yes.
You guys are my real life friends.
I
literally,
know.
it's
I
amazing.
know.
It's
It's
amazing.
fun. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is fun.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for being here. Truly,
Absolutely.
I know that people, I've already seen one comment where somebody has already looked up your music during this thing.
Oh,
And they
nice.
said they
Nice.
loved it. Yeah, which is
That's
really
cool.
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to have you back when you have something new in the works or coming
yeah.
up officially and all that. And yeah, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you
Absolutely.
guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's been great.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. As always, we'll be back next Wednesday, same time, same place. See you guys then. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.